Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and Donkey Kong Bananza is coming out soon, the 17th of July, and I have two colleagues who've already got hands-on with the game. It's Alex and Sion. Gonna cut in. So guys, you've played Donkey Kong Bananza. The only thing I've done is actually watched the gameplay, so I of course have a lot of questions, but I think most of the talking is going to be done by you. Alex, you've played it most recently. Why don't you tell us about what you think of the game? Because Alex and Sion have kind of two different experiences playing the game.
Spoilers? Ooh! Yes, so I had my time with DK Bananza. Not long enough, I feel. I could have rejoined the queue, but I had to play some flippin' Metroid, guys, so I unfortunately only got my 20 minutes with the game. I absolutely loved it. Like, I really enjoyed it. I do think, and this is not, not a slight against Nintendo or the event or the organization or anything like that, but this sort of event, this sort of type of, sort of way of playing the game is like the worst way to showcase a game like this. It's like, imagine if you got a demo, sort of 20 minutes with Breath of the Wild and you'd never played it before. You wouldn't have any idea what to do. You just want to be able to take your own time with it. Go at your own pace, enjoy the game for what it is, and sort of go, oh, sort of, what's that over there? I'll go and have a look. Oh, nip up there. Oh, what's down here? I'll come back to that later. You can't do that in a situation like this. It's like, I'm finding everything as quickly as I can, and that is not how the game is designed to be played. Taking that into consideration, I loved it. There are a few things that are a little bit rough around the edges performance-wise, but it's not a big deal to me. I thought DK moved fantastically. Someone asked me in the Q&A that I did live, check out the VOD. Ha! Sort of whether I thought Mario in Super Mario Odyssey controlled better than DK or vice versa. They're very different. Whereas, Mario in Odyssey felt very acrobatic, very free and sort of funky and slick and smooth. DK feels more like the world's gonna get out of the way for him. Like he's just this immovable object, this unstoppable force. I just thought it was great fun. It was very simple, I have to admit. Like, you find bananas very easily, very readily. I would argue maybe even slightly more easily than moons in Odyssey. But it's hard to say because, again, I went out with trying to get as many bananas as I possibly could. The important thing is, though, it goes, oh, banana.
Yeah, I saw that in the
the same as
treehouse.
the original.
Because there's a little bit of voice acting also with the Odd Rock, I think it's called, the little sidekick character.
Who's up on your shelf there?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
It's Gengar, really.
Yeah. No, it's actually, I have early merch. One person who also has early merch is Sion, who has a flipping Donkey Kong costume on. And you also got to play the game. After you've told us about what you've played of it, I would like to hear if it was even the same part you played, Alex.
Sorry, I had a little something in my throat there. I just want to say first off, I'm really glad that Alex had such a good time with the game. I think I only spent 10 minutes with it, and I think you're completely right. I think all of my worry came from the fact that there is this completely new control set. Like all the different punching mechanics, the fact that DK can pick up stuff, he can slide around in the world, you're digging around through all this dirt and can't see where you're going, and it just felt quite overwhelming. But that didn't mean that I was not excited about the game. I was worried about it. But I was thinking back to it, even watching over the treehouse and trying to analyze why I felt this way. And I was thinking, if we were thrown into a 10-20 minute demo of Minecraft when Minecraft was new, I don't know how I would have felt about it back then. I feel like this new Donkey Kong game is comparable to Minecraft in the sense that it's fun to dig around and explore and find caves and get lost in the mines and in the worlds.
You have to yearn for them first, but sure.
Sure, and I think most of us do. We yearn for that exploration from a young age. But I think, Minecraft, it is a fun game. I think, sure, people love to dog on it, but the core concept is a good time, and it's just, this isn't what I was expecting from a Donkey Kong game. Once again, I wasn't expecting to be digging through mines, breaking everything. It's funny how Donkey Kong games always traditionally except for the country series, they like to shake up the formula. We had Donkey Konga, we had Donkey Kong was Jungle Beat on the GameCube, and then the Wii. And it's like, can Donkey Kong just have a normal 3D platformer?
No.
Well, I mean, what makes a 3D Donkey Kong game? There is no consistent formula because no game realistically has ever had a proper sequel. We've had Donkey Kong 64. That was arguably the last proper 3D like platformer that, was Donkey Kong themed, or rather in the Donkey Kong series. And that is, I don't want to have to say this, that's over 25 years old. You know?
It's over Felix years old.
Oh.
And it's got all of its own issues too, right? So.
Oh, it does. Yeah. I mean, I still really like DK64, but it's far from a perfect game. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is there's no formula here. So, although
Sure.
I have to say this before I forget because I'm dying to get this out. I really hope you can switch A and B around.
Yeah.
For the interactions, because B is dig down, makes sense. Y is dig forward, makes sense. X is dig up. I understand why they've done it the way they have, but I am so not used to playing a Nintendo platformer and jumping with A. I don't care if it makes less sense. I'll dig down with A and I'll jump with B. Please make that an option because I kept doing misinputs and that was so not Rainbow Rhythms.
I think if I remember right, Nintendo has come out and said that like you'll be able to change all of the controls like on a game by game basis now.
Yeah, but then in the menus, B becomes forward and A becomes back.
Sure, that's a good point.
I run into this problem a lot because I remap my controls to be like a Nintendo console on every system.
So, what part of the game did you guys get to play?
I got to play the mine, and then you get shown Ingot Isle, and all the bananas get swept up by this giant monkey force, then teleports you to the Sky Island, Tears of the Kingdom-esque looking area. Yeah, I got to run around in there a little bit. Was your demo the same, Alex?
It was, yeah, and I think, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm fairly certain the rep said that this was like the 4th level.
So, a worry I have with the game is, well, Sion shared this worry, is a lot of the game is like smashing the walls. So a lot of the game, you can't really see the game because you're just smashing or you're going down, you're punching down and you can't really see anything. How did it feel, Alex, to go around and smash things? And was it as fun as the developers hopefully wanted to be? Because, yeah, to me it's like, okay, I'm smashing all these things, but is it even fun?
Well, can I preface this by saying, little known fact about me, I may have mentioned it to you guys, I don't know. I'm claustrophobic.
Oh.
I cannot stand enclosed spaces. Even in games and films, makes me very uncomfortable if it's also particularly quite visual as well, which I don't think is uncommon. Not being able to see well, not being able to control well. It's control being rescinded and feeling powerless in an environment that I can't understand. I didn't get that at all with DK.
Oh, interesting.
It just didn't affect me. I think because
That's great.
You dig through, but you don't have that feeling of powerlessness. You don't feel like you're crawling through a small hole. You don't feel like you're having power taken away from you because you're just like, nah, just punch my way out again. Easy. You know, and that may change when there are enemies and I'm flustered and stuff like that. But I do think that that's a really key thing to get right on a very personal point of view. I wouldn't say difficult thing to get right, but an easy thing to get wrong, I think is a better way of putting it. Sorry, to answer your question, yes, I thought it was fun. I would say in some ways, I don't want to say more so than Minecraft. I know we're using that comparison a lot, and they're two very different games.
Have you even played Minecraft, Alex?
Oh god, yeah. I've played hundreds of hours of Minecraft. Yeah. Get in. Admittedly, it was like when it was still on Java, but we'll not focus on that. It's obviously a much more tailored experience. Minecraft, it's all random. You could dig for ages and not find anything. You know, sort of. You look at something, you go, I bet there's something over there. You go dig around a bit, or you throw something at it. There's something there. So it is rewarding because you can make those assumptions in advance. And you're paid. You get a payoff for that.
What about you, Sion? How did you find the whole like having to smash everything and just a lot of the game maybe is just looking at a wall and smashing it?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head that I was quite worried about that as well when I played. Even like looking back at my footage, it's just so much dirt in your face. But I think one thing I noticed in the treehouse from watching was it seems like when you're digging around in certain areas, you'll like I don't know if Alex got to experience this, but you can kind of of pan the camera around sometimes and see like other like caves or other like things to kind of like go and dig for when you're digging under. So you're not just completely surrounded by dirt or by rock or rubble. You'll be able to see kind of like points of interest that you can go off and seek out without having to maybe like go back to the map or even rely on odd rock by tapping like the L or the R button or whatever it is, because odd rock it sounds like will,
I really like
guide
that
you.
feature. Yeah, they sing.
Yeah.
I saw in the treehouse footage. DK starts like whistling. Can I just say the game? Oh my god, DK is so expressive. They showcased
yeah.
photo mode. I don't know if you guys got to try it, but the photo mode, it was like every time I was doing something else, he just had a different expression and it looks gorgeous.
Really?
The game looks gorgeous. But
you get a different expression often every time you get a banana as well. Like sometimes he'll be like, and sometimes he'll be like, ooh. And it's really expressive, and it's in a very similar way to, although a much more exaggerated way, as Mario would do different poses when he gets moons. Like sometimes he'd be like, pa, sometimes he'd be like, wah, sometimes he'd be like, wah. It's just like the sort of the natural conclusion to that idea.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just like how we get different versions of Link as well over the years. The art style is constantly changing. I'm glad that they have like kind of deviated from that, or like the Kev Bayless Donkey Kong Country style and gone with this more animated version as well. I'm a big fan of the new style.
It has grown on me, actually. I wasn't sold on it to begin with, but seeing him in motion, seeing him be more animated, and like even on the box art, if you didn't know there'd been a design change, you'd think, oh, that's the Kev Bayless style. Because it's the same angry brow, so that still exists. All that DNA is still in there, but it's almost like it's been opened up a bit. A lot like the game.
Yeah, DK's finally allowed to express himself in the way he truly wants. Did you find yourself like constantly surprised by like all of the different moves that he can pull off?
There were more than I expected, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of digging out a great big rock on the ground, from the ground, and then just jumping on it as it spins around, and you Beyblade your way out of there.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Cool.
And you can go quite fast with it as well, but you don't have the same airtime as Mario does, which is something to bear in mind. You definitely have to be more cautious with the way that you behave, for lack of a better term, so that you don't end up falling off the edge, which I think I did. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain I fell off the edge.
I will say, though, I think I was one of those persons that wasn't really that excited for this game. I saw the treehouse footage and I actually got bored, but that might also just be a testament to how they played. And I don't know, the gameplay they played wasn't that enticing to me. I will say, though, listening to both of you talk about it, and also just rewatching the treehouse, maybe not focusing so much on the gameplay, but also just like all the little graphical details, all like it looks like it has a lot of polish, even though it has some frame drops and stuff. It's gorgeous, and the more I watched, I was like, yes, this is the Odyssey team. We're not getting a new 3D Mario anytime soon. No, we're not.
Unless it's being made by another team.
That is very fair. But
not impossible.
I feel like I got more and more convinced. Like, yeah, this is the Odyssey team. It looks really.
What if they split the Odyssey team in half?
Must have been painful. One thing I will say about watching things like the treehouse and stuff like that, and even our own gameplay when we upload gameplay videos, it's never as like things always feel way slower and less dynamic when you're just watching someone else do it. Because you're passive, you're expecting things to happen, but when you're controlling it, when there are those moments when you're not doing anything, you're thinking. So those bits sort of disappear. And
that's the awesome thing about games.
Yeah, I found it so many times when I've been playing a game and I'm like, I want to get some nice dynamic footage, no sort of slowing down or anything like that. I record it and I'm like, that was great. I watch it back and I'm like, well, it's okay, but why did I pause here for 3 seconds? What's going on here? It's very different when you're in the driving seat.
No, I have a very good example for that. I was watching my girlfriend play Outer Wilds, and whenever she would have the controller, it would not be scary at all. It's like, oh yeah, just go there. Why are you not going there? Come on. I get the controller. And I was just so scared. It was the simplest thing. It was just because you're in control. When you're in control, everything feels more, I don't know, real or like Alex says, more dynamic, impactful. So I totally get what you mean there.
I think I probably put a lot of pressure on myself when I first played it as well, because you know, we only had 10 minutes, 15 minutes for this demo, however long it was supposed to be. And I wasn't understanding the meat of the game right away. So I was probably like upset with myself too, you know? It's different when you're having to cover things sometimes.
Yeah, cover and you have a time limit on it. It's like, I need to get as much done as possible.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited to something like down the road, like get to spend, you know, a whole afternoon with this game, or just when the game releases, right? Like be able to play it in our own time and fully understand it. Because I think, I agree. I think there is a lot of polish here and a really good game in there, but still have my worries about it. But I'm more optimistic than I was before, too.
Good. I'm glad I've been able to pull you over to the other side.
But there you have it. Those were our thoughts on the new Donkey Kong game. Based on what you've seen, maybe you've played it at an event. Well, let us know down in the comments below what your experience was with the game. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, why don't you smash that subscribe button as many times as you want. Maybe you find some gold or maybe even a shiny banana. Thank you again for watching. And I had a long pause there. All right then, Phoenix from Nintendo Life out.